Young Drunk. Hey, welcome to the Michaud Mission. 2 men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Len, aka the Bat Triple. And as always, I am joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're there.
We are there.
We're here.
Yeah, look,
It
man.
is the 400th episode of the Michaud Mission.
400 episodes.
Woo!
Literally hundreds of hours
Yes.
of us talking.
You just have a way of being so succinct.
I'm just
How you put
saying,
these
like,
things.
you ever think, like, you think about that, like, hundreds of hours of us talking.
And you have been with us for 400 of them, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much.
Yes.
And tonight we have a very special show for you.
Yes, we
that is
do.
planned for you. Our 400th episode will see Vincent and I sitting down to review from 2023, 1001, written and directed by A.V. Rockwell and
Yes.
starring the fabulous
my
Tiana
God.
Taylor.
Yeah.
In a star-making performance, if ever there was
Yeah,
one.
spoiler, ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Like, actually ridiculous.
Indeed. And what is also ridiculous is that joining us for our review, in fact, just notifying us that, yo, I'm here to just chill for the whole thing.
That's a quote.
For the whole night, making his fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth appearance here on the Michaud Mission. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the man you saw in Shirley, for the man you saw in Lucky Number 7, for the man who you will see on Amazon's Obsession.
Yes, sir.
Actor, producer, DJ, Mr. Fashion himself, Dorian Missick in the building.
What's up, Dorian?
Yeah. What's up, y'all? Hey, 5 times? I think I'm wearing out my welcome now.
No, not at all, brother. Not at all.
No,
Wow,
bro.
5 times.
Five
Yeah.
5 times.
You got everybody beat. Nobody comes
Yeah.
close.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a fan. That's why it starts like that. That's why when you're like, do I want to hang out? I was like, yeah, I want to hang out for all of it because this is what I do. I'm just going to be listening to y'all anyway. So, like, I might as well listen now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So how are you, man? How are you?
Great. Blessed and highly favored, as they say in church.
I know
You
that's right. I know
Amen.
that's right.
It's a good time. I'm out here enjoying this wonderful Montreal atmosphere and, having a good time.
That's right, because you're in Montreal filming Obsession, which is a new series that's going to be coming out on Amazon, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Like, and if I understand, it's not based on the old cologne that I used to wear obsessively, like every day.
Nah, it ain't like that. But
No.
you might want to use a little bit of that while you
Right,
watch
right.
it. You know.
So what is Obsession about? What is the deal?
Well, it's loosely. Nah, I'm not gonna say it's loosely. It's based on a book called 56 Days Later, which is a book that deals with a couple that meets during the pandemic and they end up living together. And then 56 days into the relationship, somebody ends up dead. And the second half of the book is about the investigation and how those things unfold and all of that kind of stuff. And so this series is that. We took it out of the pandemic and put the cops more into the forefront of the story. And so it's myself and Carla Souza, who people probably know from How to Get Away with Murder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so we are the 2 cops investigating the case, and our lives intertwine. It's like craziness. You know what I'm saying? My character, he just recently divorced, so he's on the apps and he's having a lot of mishaps.
You swiping.
Yeah, he's fumbling the ball a lot on the dating.
You know what I love? And I'm gonna call Dorian out because I'm the same way. Married dudes who talk about the apps. He's like, he's on the apps. Cause it's like a whole foreign.
Yo,
they on the apps.
I don't know the format. Like, I don't know what they look like. I mean, I understand the concept.
Right.
Left, swipe right. What that looks like, I still don't know.
Look, game recognized game. Like I said, I understood when you said, because he on the apps. I was like, Dorian don't know nothing about no damn apps. He don't know nothing about no dating apps. I read an article in Atlantic about it. It was something about the apps.
I mean, as an actor, you do your research, but I was like, I ain't gotta get on.
Like he called to the next room, said, Simone, you ever read about these apps?
Yeah. So you ever heard of this?
Right. Which it goes without saying, please give her our greetings and, hey, Simone, what's up?
Will do. Yeah, she's good.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight, man.
Yes.
We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And
thanks for having me. This is great. And talking about something that I love.
Look.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to 1001. I'm just curious to really off the top, why? Because Vince, you kind of led with it, Outside of Crooklyn, Dorian has mostly been here for Dolomite movies.
Right.
So when we said for episode 400, and he said, I would really like to sit down and give a critical analysis of 1001, if you don't mind, man.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're going to have one of those episodes, huh?
I think I was looking at my body of Micheaux Mission work and realized it doesn't represent my film taste. I was like, where am I getting these movies from? So I was like, you know what, man? I could be a serious brother sometimes. So I want to do something kind of serious.
Okay. Well, we got a serious movie for him tonight.
Most definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's right, because his filmography would now be Crooklyn,
right?
Dolomite movies,
right? What was it?
Strictly Business,
Strictly Business.
And 1001.
And 1001.
We didn't do New Jersey Drive. I know New Jersey Drive was one of the ones I was gonna try to do too.
No, we didn't do.
No, we didn't.
Yeah. You say,
that's what I'm saying, man.
Keep that in your pocket.
Right.
Keep that in the pocket.
Right.
All right.
All right.
But shout out to each and every one of you out there who are watching us as we stream from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. Here, Dylan is on the side. What's up, Dylan? He's waving his hand, ladies and gentlemen.
Dylan is waving his hand.
As we stream to all points north, south, east, and west. That includes Facebook, that includes Twitter, and that includes, of course, YouTube. Shout out to every one of the missionaries out there in the chat. Hello, missionaries.
Good evening, one and all.
Speaking of missionaries, it was really cool to see a lot of the missionaries, or more than a few, make it out this past Thursday for our screening of the 5 Heartbeats as the second part of the Be Real Micheaux screening series at Bryn Mawr Film Institute. Sharon Eldridge was in the place. What's up, Sharon?
It's good to see Sharon.
Seeing you there. Calvin Austin was there. More than a few missionaries there. And we really had a great time.
Oh, look, 5 Heartbeats.
I know.
On the big screen. You can't beat that.
And there was more than a few people who did not, this was their first time seeing
That's right.
the 5 Heartbeats.
Yeah.
And a lot of them said, okay, I can see why this is, classic.
And I love the people who said they had seen it, but had never seen it on the big screen. So they picked up details that they didn't, you don't quite get on the television.
Like the whole bowling shoes.
Right. The fact that he's wearing Duck is wearing bowling shoes.
He's wearing bowling shoes.
Right, so.
But because you weren't there, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know that at the end of our screening, all of those in attendance got a chance to vote on the next film in the Micheaux Be Real screening series, which will be taking place in August, which is Action August.
Yes.
And they had to choose between 2 films. Now, coming in second.
Yes.
Some will say a distant second, but I will say just by a millihair.
I don't even know why you're saying second. It was only 2 films.
Okay. Well, it was, that means it wasn't first, so it was second.
No, it wasn't first.
So it was second.
Right, yes.
So
second.
it almost won.
Almost is doing a lot of work in that sentence.
Coming in second was Truck Turner.
A fantastic film, let's be clear. Love Truck Turner, one of my favorite films.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and which is why I put it in there. We put it up there for grabs.
Right.
It did not win.
It did not.
So this August, on a date to be determined, so stay tuned, the Micheaux Mission and the Be Real Black Cinema Club will be presenting at Bryn Mawr Film Institute on the big screen.
On the big screen.
For your screening pleasure. And his screening pleasure, The Last Dragon.
The Last Dragon.
From 1984.
1984 is The Last Dragon. A classic film, Lynn. Michael Schultz, Timok, Vanity, and others.
So let's get into the show.
Dorian, if you had to choose between the two.
Do we really have to ask Dorian?
We absolutely have to ask Dorian. Dorian is here.
Okay. All right.
Vanity. I'm watching Vanity all day.
He don't even call it The Last Dragon.
I call it Vanity.
They call it Vanity.
Well, to be fair, I've shared my Vanity story when I turned 21. For those that haven't heard, when I turned the age 21, I got a certain amount of money. I forget exactly how much money it was, and I was going to spend it, like very, very freely at the comic book shop. And on my way to the comic book shop, I passed a local bookstore where in the window was Vanity's issue of Playboy. So suffice to say, I don't know what comic books were on sale for that.
You just bought a bunch of copies?
I bought 3 copies.
You bought 3 copies.
I bought 3 copies of Vanity's Playboy.
Sure.
One of them was cut up and plastered all on my wall.
I'm really uncomfortable with you breaking down what you did with each copy.
Yeah, I was hoping you leave that part out.
Well, I didn't do anything.
Okay, I didn't know where you were going to go with the other 2 copies.
I don't do that.
Okay, you said one of them, I did this, and I was like, wow, it's 2 more copies. Whew, where are we going?
No.
Okay.
No. So anyway, the one I had and I put up on my walls, the wall, like my front door, my bedroom door, so it was on that wall. So when I laid in my bed, I could see Vanity.
Right. You're a fan of Vanity.
Oh, God, yes.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yes.
Let's go.
So,
all right.
That night when my mother came into...
We are still talking about Vanity and Playboy. Go ahead.
Yes. It's 400 episodes.
Yeah.
They know you well enough now.
This is how you know you've been on 5 times, Dorian. Ain't no filter.
So...
Ain't even play got open.
So when my mother came into the room,
yes,
I forget, she was coming in to say something. And then she turned around and she saw the Vanity panorama.
Right.
She just shook her head. It's like, well, he's at that age, and she just walked.
And then she just walked out. And scene. There you go. All right.
So that's.
But The Last Dragon won by landslide.
We're still talking about The Last Dragon?
We're always talking about The Last Dragon. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to touch that. All right. So
that's not what you said about the Vanity Playboy. See what I did? Did you see what I did? Did you see what I did? Go ahead.
All right, let's get into the show.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a packed show for you tonight. Dorian Missick is here. Vincent is here. I'm here. You're here. It's the 400th, and that means we want to hear from you. It's time for your emails, or as we like to call them,
missives from the missionaries.
What else is going on, Lynn?
We have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries.
Ooh.
Missives from the missionaries.
Missives from the missionaries, ladies and gentlemen. Vincent, Dorian, we have an email from Ariel Johnson.
Hey, what's up, Ariel?
Of Malcolm Comics. Hi, Len and Vince. The subject line is The Matrix Explained.
Okay.
She's finally writing the email. Usually this is a text she sends me the next morning.
Sure.
Hi, Len and Vince. The character in The Matrix that you are thinking of is Seraph, and he is played by Colin Chow. He has been in movies with Donnie Yen, though, so it might be helpful in a future game of Kings, the 6 Degrees of Dorian Missick. So you're thinking about Donnie Yen.
Of D'Urville Martin. I
was like,
could do 6 Degrees of Dorian Missick if I had to.
Could you?
Oh, absolutely.
All
I
right.
said we do.
Oh, come on. Absolutely. 100%.
All right. I'll put you on the spot right now.
Who?
Oh no, this is embarrassing.
It's 6 films or less.
6 films or less. Who do you want me to connect to Dorian?
Connect. Okay. No, Derville Martin would actually be too easy. Connect. No, that'd be too easy. Oh, I know. Your blind spot.
Who?
Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox. Okay. Courtney Cox is in she's in Scream, right?
Yes.
With old girl.
The old girl.
No. Has a talk show now. Was in E.T.
Oh, Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore. Okay. Courtney Cox is in Scream with Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
Drew Barrymore is in Charlie's Angels 2 with Bernie Mac.
Okay.
Bernie Mac is in Soul Brothers with Samuel L. Jackson.
Right.
Samuel L. Jackson is in Avengers Endgame with Zoe Saldana. And Zoe Saldana is in Premium with Dorian.
Ooh.
Well,
he added an extra step.
he added an extra step.
You could have just jumped when Sam Jackson. I was in Freedom Land. I played Sam's son in Freedom Land. That would have been one less step.
See?
But the way he still did it, I'm not taking away from you. I'm just saying
Right. Also, I didn't see Freedom Land.
Well, very good.
There you go.
I don't know if that one's black enough. Yeah, it is. I think it is.
Very good, Vincent.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
Well,
They get an extra one today.
They got an extra.
400, yeah.
There you go.
It's a remix just for this episode, yeah.
But what Ariel was pointing out was you
Was
mentioned-
my ambient racism mixing up 2 Asian men? Is that what Ariel is pointing out?
That is pretty much.
Vincent, you are racist. I'm sorry.
She continues that I finally watched Ava DuVernay's Origin,
Yeah, good stuff.
and wow, it left me with a lot of feelings. As always, I love tuning in to hear you two do what you do. Awesome work, friends. Ariel. Thank you, Ariel. I know she hasn't caught up in real time, but we have reviewed Origin, and that was a fantastic episode.
Yeah.
Of a fantastic film, and an underappreciated film.
It was.
It really
It was.
underappreciated film. That was a good movie. All right. We got another email, Vincent.
Okay.
This is from Corey Nickel.
Hey, what's up, Corey?
Oh, I'm reading this in real time. Hi, Len, Vince, and special guest Dorian. Before I start, I have 2 things to get off my chest.
Okay.
All the missionaries out there, oh, this is nice, should check out Len's new show, Black History Year, and people from Baltimore have a hilarious accent.
Yes.
I say this because Vincent is from Baltimore, and I
am.
often laugh wherever they talk. Don't ask me why. That's funny.
Yeah.
And thank you for the shout out for the podcast that I produce with Push Black, Black History Year, available wherever you find podcasts. You can also look it up on our Push Black YouTube channel. It connects you with the history they did not teach in school. It's a dope show. Check it out. All right. The Black community has always held discussions and debates on different topics ranging from music to sports. Some of these debates are Fresh Prince or Martin? Is Tina Marie invited to the cookout? Who is the GOAT Black comedian? The best rapper of all time? And etc. Which debates do you all think does not get old, and or which of these debates do you find the most entertaining? I thought this question would make for a worthwhile conversation. I'm excited to watch and listen to the new episode. Happy 400 episodes to the Michelle Men from a fellow missionary, Corey.
Thank you, Corey.
Oh, we greatly appreciate that.
All right, let's get Dorian. What's your favorite debate, Dorian? What's your favorite at a party, at a whatever debate?
I like top 5 MCs. Always.
That's mine too.
Yeah, always that. But I'm also here for the Good Times versus Cosby Show debate.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, because it tells you something very specific about the person's experience, about whether they are on Team Good Times or Team Cosby.
Yeah.
Because there's very rarely do I find anybody who's in the middle. They either really cannot stand one or the other.
That's very true.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
because I love the Cosby Show, but I also kind of love Good Times.
Yeah, but you see how
I just love black stuff, though.
Yeah, but you did kind of, to be fair, you kind of qualified your love of Good Times a little bit.
Well, my Good Time, I'm sure this is radical. I think it goes off the rails a little bit when John Amos leaves.
Right.
Like it just kind of turns into a different show.
But couldn't the same be said a little bit about the Cosby Show? That it starts to get a little murky as the kids get older.
I am actually a ardent defender of later Cosby Show episodes.
Okay.
The Wretched is like the 4th or 5th season. Theo at NYU has some really good episodes, like that period Theo at NYU and Dabness is like the last 2 seasons.
Okay. Now you see this. That's where you kind of. Yeah. Well, I gotta push back on the Dabness. Yeah.
You ain't like her bringing in Dabness on top of the trash can lid.
You know, that's how they presented him to us as an audience on the top of it. Yeah. He was the only weak link, man. That was the only one where I was kind of like, man, we could have done without Dabness. She could have had a better husband.
I didn't like what was Lisa Bonet's husband?
We talked about him in the movie.
And he's a weak link in the movie.
And I just forgot his name.
He's also a weak link when he shows up. I can't think of his name.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like those later years.
I
think they're more hit and miss, but I think it's gold in them later years.
Now here's something to think about. Now these husbands that Dr. Huxtable or that presented themselves for the women in his family.
Right.
Every last one of them was like a full-on square.
Right.
And now it makes me wonder, like, what was the statement about that? Like, what was, because even, Denise, you don't expect her to end up with a square. Like, she was the coolest one in the family. And, not to have anything against squares, but it was literally like, oftentimes women marry men that could get along with their husbands, with their dads.
Absolutely.
Any of those dudes look like they would have a cigar with Dr. Huxtable.
Not at all.
Right.
So
real quick, the actor was Joseph Phillips.
Yeah, Joseph C. Phillips. Yeah. I think it's funny you talk about comedians sometimes want to always be the funniest in the room. I do think there's part of Bill Cosby that he wanted to be the coolest dude in the room.
And that's where I bumped up against that show. Like he didn't Bill Cosby never went full Martin mugging to me.
Sure.
But there was a lot of it.
See,
and
it started
to grate on me.
I thought they worked from the bench a lot.
It did. Especially when they brought in Alan Payne.
Right.
And Eric Alexander and them. Then they started really getting into
That's was
more
true.
entertaining. It was more entertaining. So it helped me as I grew up with the show. I was glad to kind of get Theo into the clubs and I wanted to see what was going on outside of that house.
Right. It's you know what, Dorian, I was saying yesterday because we were talking about planning a trip and saying we need to go ahead and plan. Like I've actually lived long enough that I've gone from Theo, hi, I'm Theo, and I was the same age to I'm still in my Cliff mode, but like I see on the horizon. Do you remember the episode where they bought the grandparents the trip around, they like the cruise, and Russell said he didn't want to go because he didn't know if the ship would have the oatmeal he liked. The older I get, like Russell is Russell is speaking to me a little bit, like all my shit is here in the house. I could I don't necessarily want to leave the house.
Created a kingdom here, like
right.
Put me out of
right,
here.
like they like
you
like
doing me
you,
a favor.
right, like you spent the pandemic putting your situation together right. Now it's right.
Yeah.
So like
This is
Russell,
vacation.
right?
You understand? When I come home, I'm getting away from y'all.
Right. So Russell said, I don't know if I want to go on the cruise because they ain't have my oatmeal. And I said, you know what? He's spitting a little bit. Like that's a bar. So
Okay.
I hear you. I'm saying. But you were team Cosby?
I think I'm more Team Cosby than because I think they have stronger seasons. Because like you said, once John Amos left, I would tap in sometimes on Good Times and be like, what is going on? Who are these people?
I know.
And so it went too far off the rails for me. And my experience was a little closer, although it was definitely not the same, but a little closer to the Cosby experience.
Sure.
No, I really didn't know that. I thought that was as rich as black people got that were not Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan.
Right.
Or Michael Jackson. I thought that was as rich as you could get.
Right.
Without fame. So I wasn't rich like that.
Right.
At all.
Right.
But I was like, I aspire to live a life like that at some point as an adult. Till I realized that there's a bunch of black people living like that. It wasn't in my close atmosphere.
Sure.
But you said it said something to you about people that maybe ride with Good Times. What exactly is that saying to you?
Oftentimes, don't you hear the argument when people say, well, I didn't like Good Times. I didn't like Cosby Show because I couldn't identify with the Huxtables. Like there were people who I felt like there is an innate, I don't want to say jealousy, but it's interesting. Jealous probably is not the right word, but where people kind of look at it like, how dare they show this? I didn't know those black people. That was like a lot of the argument that I hear people say. I didn't know black people like that. So I knew Good Times. And I'm like, well, I don't know if that's necessarily a feather in your hat.
Yeah.
But it's just, you just speaking to your experience. But it seems that oftentimes when people are Team Good Times, they are adamantly not Team Cosby.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? They can say like, this is a fairy tale.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And to me, I was like, well, that speaks more to like your personal experience. And you receive that in a way that I'm not receiving it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I didn't grow up like the Cosbys either. But like, I wasn't mad that it was aspirational to me.
Right. Look,
you know what I mean?
My dad was a truck driver, but he very much moved like Cliff Huxtable. Like, kind of a cool dude, like you said, a cigar and listen to jazz and, just kind of real slick in the mouth and smart. And like, so even that part of it I didn't grow up like, with the art and the this and the that. But again, just the dynamic in my house was more similar.
I wanted that. Yeah, I wanted that. See, my dad was more Frank Lucas. So, you do the math.
Okay.
It was very different in my household.
Right.
All right. We got another email. This is from Ron Covington.
Hey, what's up, Ron?
Lennon, Vincent, love your show, and like others, came to it late, but I'm here now and making my way through your catalog as well as keeping current.
Okay.
If I ever get a chance to meet Dorian Missick, I would run up to him and shake his hand.
Oh, good. Good. Good.
Yeah,
I was about to say, because we're going to have some problems if you got beef. Like, that's our people's.
His wife, Simone, is extraordinary.
Yes.
Beautiful and nuanced in a way that we don't see portrayed enough on screen.
Yes.
Anyway, it could be the Howard University training, same place I received my theater and writing training.
Sure.
Anyway, I know that they've worked together briefly in Luke Cage and in All Rise. Would love to see them in something where they really play off one another. You should see the movie that
I was about to say, Jen.
The Jen.
You should watch Jen.
Great film, independent film they put together, and they are both fantastic in that film. But to his point, we have said, love Simone. Can't wait to see her in a comedy. Would love to see her in a comedy with this guy.
Hey man, look, obviously.
Make it happen.
You know.
I don't
know if you've ever heard that before, Dorian, but jot that down.
Yeah.
The two of you should work together. I don't know if this is
idea.
I don't know if you've ever heard this. Like, I notice you're not taking notes, but like you should be.
You may want to
like put that in your notes field on your phone. My wife and I should work together.
Put that on your vision board.
Yeah, I was about to say, write that down.
Right. Ron continues, I love Dorian as one of Jamie Foxx's associates in The Burial. He was spot on and hilarious.
Yep.
On another note, I was rewatching Cotton Comes to Harlem, Come Back Charleston Blue, and The Lesser, A Rage in Harlem.
Okay.
I have read all of the Chester Himes Harlem domestic novels, the source material for these films. If a new set of films were to be made about Coffin Ed and Grave Digger Jones,
oh my goodness,
who do you think would be a good fit for the characters?
Oh my goodness.
And would you set the tales in the past or try to update it to the current time?
Oh my goodness.
Your fan, Ron Covington.
Oh my goodness. Dorian, you familiar?
Not with the books. I knew it was based on the Chester. I read the novels, but I'm familiar with the movies.
Yeah. You set it current or keep it a period piece if you remade it?
I'm a fan of period pieces, especially when it doesn't deal with like downtrodden life. I like to see us living well in the past, So I'd like to see, because especially that era is like, those books, from what I remember, it's like, people dressing nice and owning businesses and things like that. So I like to see that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think I would like to see it as a period piece.
I'm look.
We love period
the
piece.
Chester
Harlem. Yeah.
Right. We talk all the time about them making the Easy Rollins books, and Colson Whitehead actually has a couple of books set in like 60s. It's like Harlem Shuffle and the because I actually have it packed. I'm reading it next week. The Something Manifesto.
Okay.
Which is a sequel that, I'm assuming because it's Colson Whitehead, somebody has optioned it and stuff. But that's definitely on I hope they make something out of it. Because I'm like you. I love these period pieces, especially in old Harlem or in the case of Easy Rollins, old Los Angeles, where the cities are characters.
So who are you casting as Coffin Ed and Gravedigger?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know, because they're a little older.
Yeah. The first person that comes to my mind is Coleman Domingo.
And I'm going to say Wendell Pierce, but I think I'm saying Wendell Pierce because I actually saw an interview with him where he talked about he's played like 30,000 different detectives.
He has.
But
he does it so well.
He's really good at it.
It's just so good.
So sure, Coleman Domingo, Wendell Pierce, I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah.
I'm in for that movie. Yeah.
I'm there all day. Yeah. All right. Another email from Michael Lockett.
Hey, Michael.
Gentlemen, big ups on the Great Veiled Aristocrats show, our review from last week. It's a nice little gem. Do you have any inside baseball on who restored this and how they found the pieces? It's really incredible when people put in that Batman level of detective work to find something that they only believe exists and then put it together relatively right. Michaud's work is fascinating, primarily because he was so prolific early in the film game and most importantly, a Black American. I actually did have the notes. I don't have them with me. I will share them on social media later for you, Michael.
Was that a warehouse find?
I believe it was, yeah. Before I tell you about my time travels, I'd like to shout out a fellow missionary, Eric Bray. Thank you for looking out. The Prestige is indeed excellent. Vince, you haven't seen it, so check it out.
All right.
I'd love to hear your thoughts.
On the list.
Okay. On my time travels, I went back to visit Your critique of I, Robot, the forgotten Will Smith movie, is the perfect description. Soulless is also how you two critiqued it. Did we?
Well, it seemed like it was kind of cobbled because it has nothing to do with the book, and it's like
that may have been in our harsher days.
I mean, look, man, stay focused on the work.
There are so many things that could have been done to make this live up to the standard of the day, or Will Smith's own standard. On both, it falls flat. Fingers could be pointed at all the sorts of people for this film, but I think it could be left at that. It's a coulda, shoulda, woulda, but it wasn't. Your two mentioning how strong Will Smith is as a cop character, especially in other films, made me think, if you had to take a sci-fi franchise, not Star Wars or Star Trek, and bring it to TV, as a science police procedural with a black lead, which film would you pick and who would star? Some films have worlds built around them that would make great shows away from the film's main storyline. Off the top of my head, Michael suggests Judge Dredd with Mahershala Ali, Minority Report with Giancarlo Esposito,
of course,
Children of Men with Daniel Kaluuya,
interesting,
and Looper with Michael B. Jordan.
Also interesting.
All the best, Michael Lockett.
Those are good choices.
Those are very good choices.
I was going to go back to Minority Report since that's actually a police thing, but
they made that a TV series.
I know, but they could make it
good.
I know, and it wasn't that good, so
okay.
I think they could go back.
I mean,
and do it better.
Is it worth another shot?
I think it's a lot of meat on that bone.
Okay.
Like, I think it's a lot of meat on that bone.
So, okay, but he chose Minority Report.
Right. You know what? I'm going to pick a wild choice.
Okay.
I think Demolition Man could work.
Oh, the Judge Dredd wannabe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Demolition Man could work.
Okay. Who you casting? Because Demolition Man, that was
Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone as the protagonist. So now you got a black person as the protagonist. Who you gonna put in there?
A little older, a little gritty. You know, Yahya Abdul-Mateen is a sexy choice nowadays.
Okay.
I feel like I'm not really in a... I don't
know.
Dorian, who we casting?
I like Yaya. He's got some weight to him, but he does feel a little young.
Need somebody a little older?
I feel like maybe because I know him to be young, but because he does have weight though. He carries weight. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I see him in that.
Maybe Idris Elba.
Idris?
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably about the age you would want.
Yeah. And he seems like somebody who could be kind of out of time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Idris not bad. I mean, Idris, all right.
Yeah. Right. Oh, boy.
I'm always going to champion.
Okay.
For what could have been.
Okay.
The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
Oh, for God's sake.
What?
Yes.
Oh, could have been. I got what you're saying.
I'm telling you.
This is one.
I'm telling you.
This is one.
If done right. The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
Just a weekly.
A weekly series?
Weekly series. Pluto Nash. Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Look, kind of like Fallout. Do it like Fallout.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. There you go.
All right. Now, who am I going to cast, though?
Who are you going to cast?
See, that's the question. So it's got to be somebody with a name to get it made.
Got to get made.
So it can't be like too much of an unknown, right?
Got to be funny.
Got to be funny.
Got to be able to do action.
Yeah. Gotta be able to do some action. At the top of my head, I was gonna say Lakeith, but he might be a little older now already.
A little older.
So
You want to go a little younger? Did you watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
no,
With Donald Glover and
no, I didn't.
I'm sorry, I
that.
forgot the sister's name.
Did you watch it?
I've watched like 4 episodes. It's not bad, but I have drifted.
Okay.
So I was wondering how you felt about Action Donald Glover.
Actually, Donald Glover's not bad, and he, you know what, he would probably, put his own spin on it.
Yeah.
And might give it a nice little quirky vibe to it. I would watch that.
Action Donald Glover?
Yeah, Donald Glover. Would you watch Donald Glover in The Adventures of Pluto Nash? Be honest.
I mean, I would, but quite honestly, I'm not watching Pluto Nash because of who's playing Pluto Nash. I'm watching for the design.
Well, okay. Yeah.
But sure, fine. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I'm
always going to champion for Pluto Nash.
Yes, that's your one. All right.
That's my one. All right, we got one more email.
It could have worked. It just absolutely did not.
It didn't. I admit it didn't.
Right.
But I saw what he was going for. That's all I'm saying.
There's a spark.
That's all I'm saying.
That's my feeling about Undercover Brother. Where I was like, man, what a great idea if they should be, and not the comedian who was the lead.
Eddie Griffith.
Eddie Griffith, yeah.
Eddie Griffith,
I feel like he's a little too hijinksy. You know what I'm saying? I think we needed somebody a little more on Earth. And I feel like Dave Chappelle could have maybe carried that on Earth feel.
Yeah. I actually like Undercover Brother, but I 100% understand why it didn't click because of that.
You needed,
like, in spite of him, I thought.
Couldn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
You needed Eddie Griffith in the same speed that he is in, was it Jason's Lyric? Where he's like the bull. He's but you need him at that speed.
Yeah.
Where he's kind of amped up, but he's still a little bit laid back.
Yeah.
Pulled back. That's the speed you need need him for Undercover Brother.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is a controversial take. Cat Williams in that role.
Well, I was thinking about Cat Williams in that episode of Atlanta.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That's what we say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Might be a controversial take. But
you know
and
what?
he won't do it unless he gets Ricky Smiley in a dress. Apparently, isn't that what he said?
That's what the word is. You're right. Right.
That's what Cat said, and Cat said it.
Right.
That's the word.
Right.
Yeah. The Cat Williams. I can see Cat Williams in that.
Yeah.
I can see Cat. I think Cat would rise to that challenge of being funny, but having the opportunities to try and stretch.
And you got to kind of hold it down just enough.
Exactly, because you got other people that are going to, you got other co-stars. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can see Cat. I can see Cat doing that. All right.
They should put us in charge of these things.
Yes. All right. One last email from Michael Sykes.
Hey, Michael.
Congratulations on your 400th podcast episode with more to come.
Thank you.
Len and Vincent, y'all got me out of some tough times through the pandemic and then some. 400 down and 12,348 more to come. Someone has been counting the black movies. This podcast will never stop due to the many Tubi and Tyler Perry movies. Yeah. Congratulations and have a great day. Love, your fan, Michael Sykes.
Thank you, Michael, and glad we could be there. Boy, but once we start Tubi.
He kind of wish bad on you. He wants you to watch Tubi and Tyler Perry.
You know what, Dorian? My cousin had me over Christmas. We watched all 3 True to the Game films. Have you all watched True to the Game?
No.
I've watched the trailer. That's my favorite pastime, to watch Tubi trailers.
Trailers.
Yeah.
It is the Columbus short, Philadelphia helmed crime thriller, but it's 3 of them.
No, it's a trilogy.
It's a trilogy. And you know it's in Philly because every time they talk to one another, everyone says assalamu alaikum. Because there's a lot of Muslims in Philly. That's how you know it's Philly.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Okay. Exactly. It's dudes with beards and like the criminals say assalamu alaikum to one another.
Okay. All right.
That's how it happens in Philly.
Even though they shot them all in Atlanta, I'm sure.
Of course.
Atlanta or Toronto.
Yeah.
But okay.
All right.
There you go. Well, that is our emails, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to have your emails read on episode 401, you can email us at michauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUX MISSION@gmail.com. And now it's time for the top five.
My top five is. My top five is. My top five is. My top five is.
Top five, ladies and gentlemen, where I give Vincent and our very special guest, Dorian Missick, a list, and they share their scintillating commentary on said list. Keep it in theme, gentlemen.
Okay.
We are going to be reviewing from 2023, 1001, starring Tiana Taylor, as a mother grappling with raising her son in 90s Harlem. This top five are the top five mothers we need today. These are 5 slept-on Black films that feature prominent and powerful performances of Black mothers.
Okay. All right.
All right.
What we got?
And coming in at number 5 is a film that I feel like people talk about and herald, but I think it's fair to say, I'll go out on a limb, that more than a few people, if you're under 35 years old, haven't seen this movie.
Okay.
And that's from 1974, Claudine, the romantic comedy drama directed by John Barry that stars Diane Carroll, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, and all of James Earl Jones.
Yes.
The film was released in April of 1974, grossing about $6 million as a modest hit. It tells the story of Claudine Price, a single Black Harlem mother living on welfare with 6 children, who finds love with a garbage collector, Rupert "Roop" Marshall, played by James Earl Jones. The pair's relationship is complicated by their poverty, the restriction of the welfare system, and the hostility of her children, especially her eldest son, Charles, Lawrence Hooker Jacob, who believes that Roop will leave their mother just like her previous husbands. Vincent Canby of the New York Times wrote that Claudine is a first-rate American comedy that gives stature to a popular film. The difference between it and dozens of television comedies is the difference between interests, to say nothing of the talent. It is also the first major film about Black life to consider the hopes, struggles, defeats, and frustrations of Blacks who aren't either super cops, super musicians, super studs, super pimps, or super pushers. He wrote that in 1974 about Claudine, a certifiable classic of Black cinema.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's fair to say that at now, 50 years later?
Sure.
More than a few people haven't seen this film. It's worth revisiting.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, this is blue chip filmmaking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming you love Claudine.
One of my favorite movies of all time. A film that my wife and I toy with the idea of redoing, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of look at it like, it's a reflection of our relationship, because she's very Diane Carroll, very pulled together and elegant. And I'm James Earl Jones in that film, who's like kind of a bumbling guy. That's me in a nutshell. So, well, I joke around. I'm like, yo, that's us. We
right. You go, yeah. Look. I would love to see that.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah,
it's a film that we talk about are classics, right? And there are certain films you always say to well, it's a classic. Why would they remake it? But that is a movie that's one of those movies that you could see possibly being remade, maybe if not for the theater, maybe for streaming, just to reintroduce people to that story.
Well, and then this, I mean, appropriately enough for tonight, like one of the subtexts of Claudine is how capitalism and the system are actually hostile towards poor women who are trying to be mothers.
Yeah.
Like it's like 1001 is in a lot of ways almost a descendant of Claudine.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's absolutely a film that is relevant. Also, my favorite blaxploitation soundtrack.
Claudine.
This Claudine soundtrack is my favorite blaxploitation era soundtrack.
Now, I'm surprised to hear you say that. I would have thought you said a hero ain't nothing but a sandwich. Have you listened to that soundtrack? And you're a jazz man.
I am. And I do love A Hero Ain't Nothing But a Sandwich. But I do. I look. I love I love Gladys Knight.
I can say the Gladys Knight.
I love Gladys Knight. And
it's a jamming soundtrack. It is jamming.
You know, and quite honestly, and here you go. Here's the sacrilege. All right, I'm about to get in trouble right now. It's not a lot of great Gladys Knight albums.
No, there's not.
Like just whole albums.
You're absolutely right.
Like, you know, what is it? Imagination, like the joint, the white cover joint with all of them. That's a great Gladys Knight album. But what are the other great Gladys Knight albums? So, you know, that's my other thing about Claudine.
I don't think you get in trouble for that. It's a fair statement.
Okay.
A lot of songs.
A lot of songs.
And not even great, classic songs. But if you were to buy an album based on one of those songs, you would be like, oh, man, I should have just bought the 45.
Right, exactly. Like, you know, not a lot of deep album cuts like you get with other people. So, yeah. I'm a Claudine dude.
All right, number 4. From 2016, another film that we reviewed here on very favorably.
Okay.
Here on the Mission. Queen of Katwe.
Queen of Katwe. Yeah.
Directed by Mira Nair and starring Lupita Nyong'o and David Oyelowo and Medina Nwanga. The film depicts the life of Fiona Mutusi, a girl living in Katwe, a slum of Kampala, the capital of Uganda. She learns to play chess and becomes a women candidate master after her victories at the World Chess Olympiads. Her mother, Naku, played by Lupita, and the younger members of her family, she helps them by selling maize at the market and taking care of her baby brother. And it is only her chess coach, Robert Kante, at a missionary program, who sees what she has, the skill that she has, as well as a bunch of other kids, and puts together a group, a chess playing group, and guides them to seemingly victory.
Solid choice.
A slept on film.
I was about to say, I feel like it slipped away.
Yeah,
already.
And you wouldn't imagine that because it's 2016, so still relatively recent, and it's a Disney movie. I was about
saying it's a Disney flick.
It's a Disney film. Yeah.
And it made a lot of money in the theaters, apparently. It did really well. It was maybe kind of a flash in the pan sort of situation.
Right.
It was a successful film, but I don't hear many people talking about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
And it's
a shame.
It's a real shame because it's a beautiful story. It's and what I like about it is it's typical sports story for the most part.
Sure.
And it's a slight twist, but it's a typical sports story. But it makes no apologies for the setting that is in. You know?
Look, part of the reason I love it is because it's a film set in a country in Africa in the 21st century. And it's not people running around with machetes.
That's right.
You know,
they're just living their life.
You know, it's some type of upheaval. Like, believe it or not, people just live ordinary lives.
Right. Just making their way. Beautiful movie. Beautiful movie. Number 3 from 2020.
All right.
Written and directed by Channing Godfrey Peoples and starring Kendrick Sampson, Alexis Shikaze, and our girl, Nicole Bahari. It is Miss Juneteenth.
Miss Juneteenth.
The plot follows a single mom and former teen beauty queen who enters her daughter into the local Miss Juneteenth pageant. Turquoise Jones, played by Bahari, is a single mother in the Fort Worth, Texas. She enters her 15-year-old girl, Kai, played by Chikaze, into the same pageant despite her daughter's obvious lack of enthusiasm. This film marked the return of Nicole in a starring role, who appeared in few productions after her abrupt departure from the Fox series Sleepy Hollow.
That bullshit.
Like a pageant winner walking across the stage, the Rotten Tomatoes Metacritic says Miss Juneteenth follows a familiar path, but does so with charm and grace. Yeah. We both loved
that movie.
Absolutely loved that.
And you know I love Nicole Bahari, and you know, like, I'm getting angry right now thinking about what happened with her on
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm assuming Miss Juneteenth.
I agree. Love it. Yeah, love it. It's my favorite kind of movie. You know, those quiet slice of life films about people doing, you know, relatively extraordinary things and, you know, in just really, really normal situations.
Right.
I like those films where you feel like they just drop you into somebody's world and you just kind of got to figure it out.
And and you're absolutely right. You're dropped in. You know, it's smart because it, you know, gives you that. You know, you're going to catch up. You're going to pick up what is going down, the language and everything, and the moving parts. And Nicole, she just pulls you through it.
Again, appropriately enough, you know, because it's in theme. I love a film that has a small cast like this, so that everybody in the film, and you're gonna have to do your thing, and you know, you kind of put the film on her shoulders, and she carries it.
Yes, she does.
Little sister who played her daughter was really good too.
Alexis Chicago.
Yeah, she was really good. But yeah, love Miss Juneteenth.
All right, this is number 2. This is a film that I don't know if you've seen, Vincent.
Okay.
I tell you to see it.
Okay. All right.
Dorian, I know you're a bit of a cinephile, so you might have seen this from 2023, recent film, written and directed by Raven Jackson in her feature film directorial debut, All Dirt Roads Taste of Salt. The film charts the growth, loves, and heartbreaks of one black woman, Mac, growing up in Mississippi from her childhood all the way through to her adult years. Rotten Tomatoes Metacritic says, for viewers willing and able to adjust to this leisurely, recursive rhythm, All Dirt Roads Taste of Salt is a beautifully elegant exploration of grief and longing. It received positive reviews from critics and was named one of the top 10 independent films of 2023 by the National Board of Review. And we actually were gifted with a screener.
Yeah, I remember.
I did not hear anything about it.
And I didn't see it, but
I popped it in.
Yeah, you've been.
And I was lost, man. I mean, that movie is so beautiful, man. It is such a beautiful, meditative film. It's not even like, I mean, there may be 10, 20 pages of script in there, like as far as like words, man. But it's just so beautifully shot. It's mesmerizing. You should actually see. Have you seen All Dirt Roads?
Unfortunately, no. I've been wanting to see it. I've been hearing so many good things about it, and I did sit down to watch it, but one time it was like just ridiculously late, and because of the pace, I was like, yeah, I got to do this.
Yeah, it's definitely a film that you've got to sit down, watch. Like you've got to put, because to be in all fairness, I put it on, and you know, I'm bad. I don't watch a lot of things because I'm always working.
Sure.
But I put it on, and I said, all right, I think I can do this and at least be answering these emails, right? And like within 5 minutes, I was like, I'm here. Yeah. You got to put everything down and just take it in, man. But once you do sit down and take it in, it is gorgeous. It rewards every time. I've introduced it to 4 people so far.
You have been a champion of this film since it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check that out, man. And then number one. And I'm upset because I didn't finish this film. I started and I haven't finished it. Mm-hmm. This is also from 2023, written and directed by Savannah Leaf, based on the short film "The Heart Still Hums" by Leaf and Taylor Russell. It is the independent film Earth Mama. It won the Outstanding British Debut at the 2024 BAFTAs and was named one of the top 10 independent films, again, of 2023 by the National Board of Review. A pregnant single mother with 2 children in foster care embraces her Bay Area community as she fights to reclaim her family. Rhonda Rasha Penrice of The Wrap praises the film and Savannah Leaf's first time directing, with an ability to transmit great emotional depth in small snapshots. It is a quiet film, but it never once loosens its grip and operates on an intimate register, a level that speaks to its characters instead of about them. I just really want to. I sat down to watch it, and I wasn't able to finish it because some things came up. But I saw what everybody was talking about.
Okay.
It's like, and it's got that independent spirit, like, a lot of close-ups and things like that. But it actually put me a little bit in mind of the film we're going to be watching, 1001. Just as, almost, I'm not going to say as well as great looking of a film, but just as intentional in his story and his storytelling. So I'm actually looking forward to returning home and finishing Earth Mama.
Okay.
From 2023.
All right.
Talk me into it, because I definitely was avoiding it.
Really?
It sounded like losing Isaiah, and that movie made me so sad. I didn't want to see another one of those.
You're right. And if you see the art for it, it gives you that mindset. Yeah, it makes you say I
ain't gonna watch this right now. I don't feel like being sad.
How you do with Antoine Fisher?
Ooh, tore me to pieces.
Yeah, Antoine Fisher is mine. I don't need to mess with that no more.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it since 06, 02, or something like that.
Right. He walks in the room at the end, and they had a banquet set up.
And then he sees the pancakes in my mind. Yeah,
he sees the pancakes. I said, "Oh yeah."
They did me dirty on that one. I couldn't even do it. I was a mess in the theater, slobbering. I can't watch that again. Yeah, I know it's there. I know it exists.
Yeah,
they see. Yeah. That's how it is. Mine is. It's not a black film. It's Big Fish.
Big Fish.
See Big Fish.
Yeah.
But that's because I told you that's because that I saw that. And it's about a guy and his father.
Oh,
I saw that like a month.
Look, man.
My father.
Look, yeah.
That was done.
Yeah, same with me with Antoine Fisher. My dad and I have been estranged for a minute, and we reconnected. And I went to the Bahamas to go see my family there. And my grandmother, I just thought it was gonna be my dad and my grandmother. And I walk in, and it's like my whole family, and it's this big hood. And then I must have saw Antoine Fisher like the next week.
Oh.
And so I was like, this tore me apart, because I was like, I'm reliving this moment.
Right.
Now, I'm curious. Do you own Antoine Fisher?
Yes.
See,
yes.
That's the same with me. Big Fish is right there. I'll never crack the DVD, but I just know it's right there.
It's there if and when you need it.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to support it, but I ain't watching.
Yeah.
I feel you. I feel you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our top 5. And now it is time for the real Game of Kings.
The true Game of Kings.
6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin.
All right.
So what you gonna do now? Dance. But can you do it on one foot?
Right.
Step on up. Step right up.
I'm gonna fight the firecracker. See, can he still do it?
Right. I'm gonna stick you with pointy sticks.
Don't feed him. 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, ladies and gentlemen, where I give Vincent 2 actors and he had 6 films or less to connect them to D'Urville Martin, that superstar of 70s stage and film.
Who we got?
Keeping in theme.
What's the theme?
We are reviewing 1001, starring Tiana Taylor. So Vincent,
Yes.
connect D'Urville Martin to these other TT celebrities.
TT celebrities.
Yes.
Interesting.
So do you want number 1 or number 2?
I mean, let's start with number 1. I'm trying to think.
Number
Who
1.
the TT. Well, I guess you're going to tell me.
In 6 films or
I'm
less.
over here trying to get him to Tina Turner, but go
Well,
ahead.
this is the easy one.
Okay.
In 6 films or less, connect D'Urville Martin,
2.
Tony Todd,
Tony Todd, the Candyman.
Candyman Ken.
Probably the best way to go.
Now, you know the quick way to go.
Well, let's be fancy. I don't know if there's a quick way, but, obviously Candyman would be the route that I'd probably pick. But D'Urville Martin is in 5 on the Black Hand Side with Dick Anthony Williams. Dick Anthony Williams is in Mo Better Blues with Cinda Williams.
Okay.
Cinda Williams is in One False Move with Michael Beach.
Right.
And Michael Beach is in Lean On Me with Tony Todd.
Well, very good. See, I was going to go Lean On Me, but I was thinking
Morgan Freeman.
Freeman.
Or Robert Guillaume.
Or Robert. Well, Robert Gould.
Robert Guillaume is probably a little hard in the
Yeah,
movies.
because, in movies.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you go.
Very
Morgan
good.
Freeman would, but all right, there you go. All right.
I'm curious, who would you have pulled? Oh, you would have, if you had done Candyman, you would have.
Vanessa Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably Vanessa Williams. Or Yahya Abdul-Mateen. Or,
Oh, that's right, because he's in the
he's in the remake. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. All right.
It's so funny because, Beetlejuice is coming out. Like, I'm not really a fan of white people do things like this and black people do things like this. But it's hilarious to me that Beetlejuice and Candyman are kind of the same film.
A little bit, yeah.
But, like,
different.
White people think Beetlejuice, like, that shit is funny. And black people are like, okay, you need to be real easy with all that. Like, Vanessa Williams is my favorite fictional character ever in the commercial for Candyman, where she goes, we don't say that. We don't say that. I said, yeah, that's real talk right there. You play too much.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right. Number 2.
In
6 films or less.
TTs is Tina Turner.
Connect D'Urville Martin to. She's only been in 1 movie.
No, she was in what's the Who movie?
What? The Wall?
Is that no? It's the one where Roger
no.
Daltrey plays the pinball wizard.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Quadrophenia?
Yeah, because I think Tim Curry is in that. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead. You have a plan. I'm just talking. Go ahead.
No, it's not Tina Turner.
It's not Tina Turner though. Okay, who is it?
It's 6 films or less.
Okay.
Connect D'Urville Martin.
2.
Tracy Toms.
Oh, Shorty from Rent. Shorty from Rent. Yeah. So D'Urville Martin. Here we go. D'Urville Martin is in The Final Come Down with Billy D. Williams. Billy D. Williams is in The Visit.
You and that Visit.
I love The Visit with Hill Harper. Hill Harper
Yes.
is in Premium with Dorian. And Dorian...
Why you have to say, it's in Premium.
With Dorian. And Dorian plays not Rooster in Black Annie with Tracy Tom, who plays not Bernadette Peters. Because remember, Dorian was the terrible father who came and kidnapped Black Annie. I I said, oh, Dorian, you a dirty mom. I can't believe you came and kidnapped Black Annie.
Miserable. Don't you know when I found out that Tracy was playing opposite me, I was like, oh God, she's a Broadway star who sings very well. Are they going to ask me to sing? We are in some serious trouble. We are in some serious doo-doo.
Do you sing?
Sing next to her. I mean, I can sing behind her. I can't sing no duet with Tracy Thomas.
I was like, where's Easy Street? I keep waiting for Easy Street. Speaking of Tim Curry.
Right. I know, right? And I'm not going to lie. I mean, listen, they gave the song to, what was it, Bobby Cannavale? And
Yeah.
Bobby's singing chops wasn't up there too tough either. So I think,
Nah.
Oh, man, but yeah, he could have rapped that one.
Yeah. Dorian turned back and told Black Annie to shut up.
He sure did.
I said, oh my goodness.
He did.
He is acting. 'Cause I don't like this guy. He's very mean to Black Annie.
I remember we saying that. Yeah. We said that.
That's actually what I said. I said Dorian was very mean to Black Annie.
I had a friend of mine whose daughter called me. She's like 7. And he was like, she needs to talk to you, man. And it was very serious business. And I was like, what's going on? And she was like, well, you know, when you took Annie, why didn't you just ask her if she wanted to go? Why you take her? And I was like, wow, that's a very insightful question.
Yeah.
More for the writers than it is for me.
Right.
Because the script said.
Because the script said, it actually says, the direction said, be mean to Black Annie.
Because it's Black Annie, you know.
Oh, God. All right. Well, there you go, Vincent.
Yeah.
Well done.
There you go.
Well done.
Another film where the system fails a black child.
At the hands of some white folks. No, I'm joking.
Well, yeah. Annie is real tricky. Yeah, Annie is real tricky. My wife and my daughter teased me because I actually yelled out in the theater before we got to the part where you were mean to her, where you find out, spoiler, she can't read. I actually yelled out, oh, Lord, the baby can't read, because that broke my heart.
The original Annie couldn't read either, right? I hope. That was not something
I think original Annie could read. I don't know if it comes up whether or not she can read. Is it a plot point in the first Annie that Annie can't read?
That was some hot sauce they put on there for us.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Annie was just poor. She was just an orphan.
Yeah, she's poor.
Which was terrible.
Yes.
You could just go purchase an orphan, apparently, in the 30s.
You could. It was different times. It was a depression. All right.
400 episodes, folks. 400 episodes. This is the type of insightful historical critique you.
Rules are different.
It was a depression. It was just anything goes.
You need more working. You need more hands to work.
Anything goes. Just go purchase a kid.
Okay.
All right.
All right. That was 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, ladies and gentlemen. And now it is time for us to get into our review, our 400th review.
Yes.
1001 with Dorian Missick.
All right.
Unapologetic and free-spirited, Inez kidnaps her 6-year-old son, Terry, from the foster care system. Holding on to their secret and each other, mother and son set out to reclaim their sense of home, identity, and stability in a rapidly changing New York City. In the 90s, in 1001, written and directed by A.V. Rockwell in the directorial debut, and starring Tiana Taylor, William Catlett, and in the role of Terry at ages 6, Aaron Kinsley Atola, age 13, Avon Courtney, and at age 17, Josiah Cross. In this film, selected by Dorian Missick, making his 5th appearance here on the Michaud Mission. I think he is no longer a special guest. He is now officially our co-host, Dorian Missick. Dorian, what say you of 1001?
Yes, hands down. My film for best, my vote for best film of 2023. It was, and a lot of good stuff came out that year. So that's a big statement, you know. But yeah, I think it was obviously very slept on. I don't think they had the budget to really go after the Oscars as they could have, as they should have, because I saw Tiana's name on a lot of the short lists, you know, based on critics, what they thought. But I just don't think they had enough money to push it over the finish line. But yeah, no, I thought it was just I thought it was a film that just captured, like you said, you know, single motherhood, the need for family, this woman's need for family. It's like, what would you do to have a family?
Yeah.
She just almost, it's so far. She took it so far. And also just, I like New York as a backdrop because I witnessed firsthand gentrification and watched city change exactly like that. So I thought that was beautifully done. The performances were incredible. I mean, a lot of the kids, I feel like, were first time actors, and maybe they weren't, but they seemed like they were, and they stood up and really handled themselves. I mean, all the different boys that played the sons at different ages, every last one of them superb. So I just thought it was one of those films that I was like, man, I feel like it needs so much more attention. More people need to see it because it was just so well done. I can't wait to see what this director does next.
Yeah. It's one of those films where you read that as their directorial debut, and I'm like, get out of here. But it's just a feature film debut.
Yeah,
It's done short films and commercials, but but I mean, the eye on this film and the script is just amazing. What did you think?
I mean, pretty much the same thing. I'll start with the kid actors, and I'll go ahead and because I thought the same thing about this character at these three different ages, and you know, you have Aaron Kingsley Adatola, who plays him when I think he's like 6 or 7.
Right. That's who we meet.
That's who we meet. There's Avon Courtney when there's a flash forward and he's like 14, 15. And then you have Josiah Cross when he's 17, 18, about to graduate from high school. And they really are these three wonderful performances, again, from young people. And not only them, they're like actors around them. Like at one point, Terry has a boy who, the young actor gives a great performance. I love the two girls that play his love interests at like 14 and 18.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love them. And, talking about films that it kind of reminds you of this, that, and the other. Like, I wanted the camera to almost follow the girls, and it was almost like just another girl on the IRT.
I was thinking about that as well.
It was like, just their spirit, and there's an exchange where Terry is trying to get her to call him and this, that, and the other, and they go on a date. And it's the sweetest date with, not to be cliche or stereotypical, but one of these sort of city, New Yorky, like she real tough on her exterior. But you can tell she really is kind of putting him through the paces and making him earn it. I've been a big fan of William Catlett, quite honestly. I can't even say like I'm the cool guy or not. Like on Black Lightning, frankly.
Yeah.
Like I saw him on Black Lightning and I was like, wow, he's frankly doing much better on this than he needs to.
Yeah, do you not know this is
right?
A
like
CW
it's like
show?
wow, you're really doing work right now. And like since then, I've seen him in a couple of projects, and I thought he was fantastic as Lucky. But look, man, the story of this film is Tiana Taylor.
Amen.
Ooh.
Amen.
And as they say, I was not aware of your game. Like I did not know. Like I don't look. Tiana Taylor, and she's sort of a celebrity, and it's the abs, and but I mean, look, I'm just being real. Like Tiana Taylor on my radar she's a celebrity. I wasn't quite sure what she did and then the abs. But like, I didn't really know about her.
Right.
So I was completely taken aback by just how, like, this was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And speaking of, you know what it made me think of, speaking of these actors at 3 stages, like the highest praise I can give her over the past 10 years, I actually wrote in my notes, this is some Naomi Harris in Moonlight shit. Like, just, again, this actress with all these different shades, all these different, like, it's such a lived in actual character that it really kind of took my breath away. And then, you know, the story itself, kind of like you mentioned, like this sort of, you know, it's poor people kind of dealing with this world that is hostile towards them for being poor. Like, you know, we've mentioned this before, every night. Like, one of the things that infuriates me is like these blind side stories where, you know, white people come in and adopt black kids, and you know, if you just watch movies and media, you think it's just poor little indigent black children everywhere, and white people come and get them. Come here. Because we don't talk about the unorthodox, extra legal kind of sideways that black people have always taken care of children. Like, we've all, like, everybody sitting here got a cousin or somebody whose mama is really their aunt. Or, you know, somebody on the street took in somebody, or just one of the, because that's what we do. And a lot of times we have to do it this way because when you go through the system, when you start filling out paperwork, things get kind of jammed up. So that paralleled with, which I thought was so smart, the way Rockwell kind of sets up, like you said, how gentrification slowly but surely is another hostile force.
Yep. And you just
I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Creeping in from the edges throughout the entire movie.
Look, towards the end, where the social services people, the police converge on the apartment that's been falling apart because of what this
in real time.
Yeah, I was like, this is amazing. So yeah, I have nothing but praise for this film.
I mean, every little detail was just incredible. Because I mean, the house falling apart, and then when the social service people show up, it looks like, well, this is the situation in which he's living. So of course we need to get him out of it. Tiana Taylor, the line in the film that I think was just so telling, was she was like, I'm gonna mess it up, but it was something along the lines of like, nobody supports black women except other black women, and even that's a little bit.
And even that shit gets messy
because ultimately it was a black woman who insisted on turning her in.
Right.
And he's like, I'm about to be 18 in like 2 weeks. Like, what are we doing right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's not even gonna matter.
Yeah. And she was like, I just can't sit on this information. I have to tattle. This black woman was like, I have to tattle on this other black woman.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And it was like, that to me was like almost the theme in the sense where she was like, even at my lowest, the person who will definitely try to do me in could possibly be a black woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I really appreciate about this film is that, considering that this is, you know, Rockwell's her directorial debut, writing debut in feature film, is that this film has the bravery of showing, you know, this story of a woman whose life begins messy and is messy throughout.
Right.
She is like she is 100% messy.
Yeah.
Right. And in some respects, you know, her own worst enemy, despite her good and grand intentions. Right. And sometimes that's how it is, you know, and it would have been very easy at the end of this movie to try and like tie things up in a nice little bow.
Yeah.
But no, they do not take the easy route in any way. And because of that, everything feels that like not just authentic, painfully authentic.
Right.
Like there's the moment where after she is at just about her lowest, and because she's, you know, her her husband is gone, and Terry's mad at her, and she climbs into the bed with some ramen noodles and just puts on something for TV. And dog, I ain't gonna lie, I have been there when you are at your lowest and you just put something on and you're not even really like watching it, but you find yourself like, huh, like just laughing at it, just finding something to take your mind off of it. And you can see as she's trying to escape, but stuff is still permeating in her head. And then some of the words of the silly TV show that she's watching, totally silly, but in some way those words start to mean something to her, and a slight smile and tears are coming to her eyes in this quiet, powerful moment. And I was like, dog, I have been there, man.
Look, I love the direction.
That moment, go ahead.
Go ahead.
About that moment, once again, where I say where the director played so much attention to detail is that moment she was watching Ricky Lake.
Yes.
And it spoke directly to her situation, which I thought was like really interesting. Because it was like the woman in the audience was saying like, I do all this stuff for other people and I'm gonna stop doing it because I always end up getting hurt as a result of it. And it was just like, that is how she sees her life, even though she doesn't see how she definitely put herself in the circumstances, but she just wanted to have a family.
That's all it was. That's all it was. Just trying to rebuild what she didn't have, a family.
Literally begged, borrowed, and still stole to have a family.
Right, right. Well, to your point, I thought that in a lot of ways, that's almost a microcosm of the whole film. Like the film starts, like I joked about, and again, maybe this is just me. Maybe like, you think of Tiana Taylor, and you think about her just in this kind of limited way. And, the first couple of minutes of the film, she kind of plays this character that you think you've seen before. Like you said, it's on Ricky Lake. She's doing hair. She's real spicy and this, that, and the other.
And she's wearing the wardrobe.
And she's wearing the clothes. And then the film just slowly but surely unpacks and peels back these layers so that by the time you get to this Ricky Lake moment, you realize she is the woman on Ricky Lake, but the woman on Ricky, like maybe you've been misjudging the woman on Ricky Lake. Like, we kind of look at people, and particularly we look at, frankly, poor black women, and we look at them a certain way and this, that, and the other. But it's this wonderful humanity that you see. And like you said, I love the fact that nothing is really resolved.
Right.
Because that's
almost like it's gonna get worse.
Yeah.
I feel like they let us off the train before it just fell all the way off the rails. Yeah. Because I do feel like it was going to get worse. Like I see Terry, missing his opportunity to go to college, maybe getting in the streets, and the streets doing what the streets do to people. Maybe she gets on dope. Like it just doesn't feel like this is going anywhere good.
Right.
And whereas most movies would pick up from where they let us breathe. That's where I think another film done by, probably MGM and starring, probably Megan Thee Stallion would take from there and move on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it would be a completely different thing, But it definitely makes you look at women in those circumstances, not just those circumstances, but makes you look at black women so much differently. I don't say that because look, I have an innate love for black women as a result of watching my mother go through what she had to go through in order to raise me and my sisters. You know what I mean? And you understand why there is a certain armor that they put on to get along in the world that people just deem as it's just too loud, too noisy, too but my mother had to speak up for me all the time. She had to advocate for me. She couldn't allow herself to be a quiet person. Right. As soon as she saw something going wrong, she had to nip it in the bud because she knew if I let it go for another day, I could lose my kid to the system or whatever is going on, Right. And so that comes across as this pushy black woman, this loud black woman, this woman who's always wanting, and she was on me all the time. don't go here. You can't be here at this time of night. I don't want to see you with these people, blah, 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 blah. And as a young man, you take it as this woman just never, I want to get as far away from this kind of life.
Sure.
And then you realize she was doing everything she could to make me, to help me navigate through this world.
Right.
Now, someone having that much love for a kid that's not even theirs.
Right.
Yeah.
Not even related to him.
Right.
She just saw this kid and was like, I want somebody to do for him what no one did for me.
What no one did for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't care if that means I have to lie, steal, cheat. Even Lucky was like, I don't understand why you're doing this mess.
Right. Right.
Who does this?
Right.
What poor person chooses to feed another mouth?
Right. 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 Well, and she says it at one point, no matter what happens, I won. Because I know that, frankly, even to this point, you had a life that I never had.
And that's why, and it's fine. Everybody can have your own point of view if you don't feel like it's, it definitely ends in an ambiguous state, right? But I feel heartened for Terry going forward. One, because of where she put him, beg, borrow, and steal to put him in that place. But also, I think that, and it's funny because you bring up Lucky. Lucky gives a line like, "What do two criminals know about raising a child?"
Yeah.
And yet, the other outstanding part about this movie is that this movie allows this black man of the streets and this black boy, growing up, or young man, to be fully formed characters in themselves and embrace their own vulnerabilities, their own faults. Like I love that it, and especially like you said, like in Lesser Hands, there are some scenes with Lucky because Lucky gets sick in the movie, and then spends a portion in the hospital. And there are scenes where that would have taken place on his deathbed. Right. But no, he definitely has a come into quote unquote Jesus moment, but it feels 100% authentic because it's in the midst of his transitioning. And it's in the midst of him going through this catharsis of his life. And mind you, this is a man who you learn has gotten out of prison and states when he gets out of prison, I'm not going back.
That's right.
And despite what you may think of him and how he's living in the streets, did not go back to prison.
Look,
I go back.
Was adamant about not going back to prison. And saying what he said about Inez, Tiana Taylor's position in Terry's life, staked his own place in Terry's life and try to, as much as he could, stand tall there for that boy.
Look, it's a moment where Terry is on the date and he kind of shifts Shorty on the other side and says, "This is for your protection," mirroring
what his father did.
What his father told him at the very beginning. And I was like, here it is right there. Lucky did what he was supposed to do.
Exactly.
Like if you are a man raising a boy, you raising that boy to be a man. And Lucky did what he was supposed to do.
And that boy as a man, because of the way that Lucky and Inez raised him, and the dialogue that they always had between them, because there was no, like, she didn't mince any words. Like, like she, the F-bombs, the S-bombs, all the bombs were right there for Terry from 6 to 17.
I said, oh, maybe I should put my earbuds on. I don't know if this needs to be playing out loud. Like
she did not let, but she had real conversation with him. And because of that, when it comes to a point, because he's fighting and he's a young boy who's dealt with loss, and he's always wondering, looking over his shoulder, I'm not supposed to be who I am. So he's a little bit unsure. But because of the environment in which they raised him, he is allowed to show his emotions and be very vulnerable right there in front of his his parents and say exactly what is on his mind. And I believe because of that, that's why I root for him, because 9 times out of 10, when you are getting caught in the streets, you're running from something. And it's something that you haven't actually faced. You actually haven't dealt with. And I feel like he is dealing with that. It doesn't mean that his road ahead is not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm rooting for him, and I don't think the streets get him on the other side. I think he just is lamenting that he can't take this walk with his mom and now his father.
Look, man, I worry that the streets get him and that they get him that he like becomes like a big time guy, because he's super smart.
Yeah.
He knows how to work people, knows how to have conversations. But ultimately, when you hit a wall, it's that kind of thing where it's like, look what happened to Jay-Z when he had another opportunity. He's a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
But before he was able to take advantage of the doors that he's now able to walk through, he apparently was very successful in the distribution of narcotics, and he managed to stay out of jail, managed to not get shot, man. You know what I'm saying, man? A lot of things that are a lot of the pitfalls that happen to dudes who just kind of fall into it. But because he had he was obviously, as we have seen, to be very calculated, and they have already set up the fact that Terry is an exceptionally intelligent kid. Intelligent, and so he's at that place where things come to him easily, but here he can't get out of this situation so simply. I mean, she told him I don't know if that's true, but apparently it's a federal offense if you fill out an application for college and you don't have your correct information, you use a false name or something like that.
Right.
So he's already under the impression that I can't go anywhere. I can't go to college. What can I do to make the most of this? And you do what you know. And what he knows is he loved Lucky. Lucky was his best example of a man, as only example from what we could tell in the story. And yes, Lucky was a man with a lot of heart, and who eventually did get a job, it looked like with the city or something like that. Yeah. But he's from the block. And the things that intrigued him about Lucky in the beginning, when he was like, yo, how'd you get that scar? And he's like, yo, a man tried to take something from me. And he tried to take something that he wanted to take something from me that he wanted. Right. And he cut him. And, you see the kid look very intrigued. So you get the impression that he's into that a bit, but then also you do what you know. And that guy is the guy he knows. You know what I'm saying? And so he's like, I didn't make this chance. This didn't work. So I have to do what I know. So I fear for Terry that he then goes to the streets. He probably does very well in the streets, but even very well in the streets always has a tragic ending. Right. You know what I'm saying? True. So I just don't see it going that well for him, which I think is part of why the story is so tragic, because it's like, look, there's so many people who look at people who come from the hood and they're like, all you got to do is just go to school and I worked my way out. Why can't you? Sure. And it's like, look, man, look at all of the things that he was fighting against just to have a normal life. Right. Just to be able to enjoy these things. This is a kid who just wanted to date. You know what I'm saying? He obviously saw the world differently. The young lady said to him, she was like, yo, why you hang out with them knuckleheads? I'm not here for you to make me feel like I'm lucky just because I'm on a date with you. And he was like, nah, I think you're beautiful. Like, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? It's obvious that he thinks outside of the box, that he's a kid who needs other opportunities and other options. And it felt to me that this student, what was she, his counselor? That she was like,
his guidance counselor,
on bringing it to a halt. Like it was almost as if she wasn't black or she ain't know no black people.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you didn't work in that system your whole career. Like you didn't understand that these kids are coming from very different scenarios. So why would she almost acted like he got caught and he was at like Exeter or like one of those schools where they just don't know how to deal with black people in black situations. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like, you don't understand that like you don't have to take it to the level that you're taking it. It's very she to me is the actual villain of the film.
Right. Or, and then, in her, I'm sure she's a mandated reporter and this, that, and the other, like lose the paperwork for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Right.
That's the thing.
Why you gotta move on this thing so fast?
Right.
She in the house calling, he in the office, she picking up the call right then and there. Like, I gotta do this. And he's like, wait, time out.
Right.
Let's take a breath.
You know, it's a shame because it's almost like Tiana Taylor's character, like, you know, like all mothers, saw this high school as an opportunity. I want the best for my children. But she's blinded by opportunity. He probably should have stayed at his neighborhood school where he could have kind of flown under the radar, gone on his life, because, you know, now it's all this spotlight on him at the big school.
Yeah, but I mean, but what gets him in trouble is ultimately the paperwork.
But
I mean, the paperwork would have come into play eventually.
I mean, I guess.
I mean,
The paperwork was good enough to get him in the school that he was in, and they flash forward 4 or 5 years. Like the
But when he was
paperwork.
getting ready to go to college, it was clear that they were saying like he seemed to be MIT material.
Right.
So you're not gonna get that at Lean On Me. So, you know, if you go to
Right.
Eastside High School, they are automatically, those counselors are like, look, you could try this community college, or they'll probably be thrown off by looking at applications for Ivy League schools. So he already is shot in the leg just by going to that school.
Right.
So I understood the mom's pressure to be like, let's put him where even in the best place, even if he comes in third, he's going to be, you know, worlds ahead of if he had gone to the local school where, you know, all they do is take attendance.
yeah,
Right.
fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I understood the fight for that, you know, and you know, and I do feel like he would have had to bump up against that at some point anyway.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Now, to your point, it probably would have come on the other side of 18. It would have
Right.
been a little bit
Right.
easier to
Right.
deal with.
Right.
But yeah.
Right.
How did you guys feel about? I love the depiction. Like I said, it's so insidious the way that gentrification is just like you hear it first, like in like just in the news, the election of Giuliani and the election of Bloomberg and how he's going to change New York. And then you see somebody buying the building across the street. And now that person has bought her building and and how gentrification just starts just like a weed, just starts growing in and just start ripping things from the scene. I thought that was beautifully done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop and Frisk was definitely like,
Oh my God.
having lived through it, it was the bane of a young black man's existence. Like you could be doing anything and it just boom, just stop you, get you know. I had a friend who spent the night in jail one time. He bought a Lucy, which they sell you. Lucy's are loose cigarettes they sell at the bodega. I in the bodega lit it for him, right? So he can smoke it. So as he's walking out of the bodega, the cop stops him. Can't smoke in there. Takes him to jail. He spent the night in jail. And he's like, the dude lit it for me.
Right.
And it was just like, nah, that was what it was. That was the time that they were on. So it was like that when those two kids were walking down the street and they just stopped them and it was like no reason, nothing made any sense. It was clear. And he was such a goody. He was like, I just want to call that out to you, Mom, so you can understand that I'm not moving like these kids.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
and I thought that was a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful point. A.B. Rockwell really understood these people. And more importantly, she really loves these people.
Right.
Oh, amen.
Right. And,
You know?
and to your point, again, regentrification, you know, I'm going to keep saying it as this hostile force. Like it is actively hostile towards people. And, you know, I think the film lands in 2007.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years later, like you see these you know, we live in Philadelphia, you know, got peoples in New York, got people in DC, these kind of cities, and you see again how they've, you know, development has really pushed people out and scattered them. And you just can't be like, look, it's not the same thing at all. You know, my daughter's in college now in DC, but it is like it kills me how she can't be a broke college student. Like you can't be a broke college student.
No.
Like, you know, when we were in school, you could get a slice of pizza. Like it was a place you could get some wings. It was a place you know, it's a place like Burrito Brothers. You get a big ass burrito and that holds you all day. Like you can't eat cheap. You can't drink cheap. There's nowhere to go cheap. Like, you know, they talk about these, you know, ain't no third spaces. Like it is. And this film, I thought, did such a great job capturing the seed of it. Mm-hmm. And you see it growing. Like that dude sending in the workmen to destroy her apartment. I was like, you know, to your point about A.V. Rockwell knows these people. I said, that's some real, she knows.
Yeah, that's some life experience.
Like this is a real thing that she knows about.
That was so slick how he did it, but you know of it happening all over every ghetto in America, that they decide that this is a new, anywhere where white people find some oil, that's where they're going to sit down.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, and so that was it. They're like, there's some gold in these here hills. We're going to go get these natives out of here.
Look.
And, you know, post up. And that it's done in such a, like you said, in an insidious manner where it's just like, this is unfathomable, but it happened all over. You know, Harlem, it happened in Brooklyn. We're watching it in the Bronx right now. You know, it's everywhere. New York is not the old New York. And there's so many ways in which that's a good thing. But that's not the old New York. You know, I enjoy not having to worry as much about getting stabbed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
However, the flip side of that comes with people telling you, you know, I don't want you walking your dog on this street. You know, this is a no dog street.
How about that?
What?
Yeah.
What?
So, you know, it comes with things. You know, one of the things that, like we said with A.V., A.V. Rockwell and her understanding of these characters and her love and care for these characters. You know, as an actor, when I meet with directors about projects, my first question for them is always, why are you doing this? Why you want to tell this story? Why is this the story you want to tell? You know, and that is very revealing about how they're going to treat the characters and in respect how they're going to treat you as an actor on set, you know, right. Because if it's just a job, then you're just, you know, you're going to be treated in that way and you're going to feel that energy in all aspects of the film and all aspects of the making of it. But if it's somebody who she feels very closely connected to and all of that, like it's an honor to tell those stories for people, you know, to help them get those stories out. And she just really, I mean, there wasn't a single false note played by Tiana Taylor's acting. There wasn't a single moment where I was like, oh, okay, she faked that one, but who cares? Everything just felt so great, just so on the money and so painful, because you almost you almost don't realize the fact that what she did is essentially kidnapping. You know,
right.
That's why she was so nervous when she bought the paper in the beginning. When she was like, "You got anything about the kid who got snatched up in Brooklyn?" And the bodega guy was like, "I don't know what you even talking about, lady." Like,
right.
Like, yeah, you know. But she was making sure, she was checking the temperature to see, you know, what's going on. But we all know if a black child gets snatched, nobody care.
Right. Well, I love that she hid, like she ran from Brooklyn and hid in Harlem.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's
Cool.
that's what
it's
we
just
do.
it's a whole nother world.
Hey man, I got family in Queens. I got a cousin who live in the Bronx. We ain't seen him since probably '97. But we know he left there.
I was just about to say that's some real New York stuff too. Like you talk to people from Brooklyn, they act like the Bronx is a field trip.
Yeah.
Hey man, till I turned 20-something years old, I have been to the Bronx maybe 4 times, and two of them was to go to the zoo on a school trip. I mess with the Bronx. It's a long train ride, man. That's a long way to run home.
It's a long train ride.
New Yorkers.
It's a long subway train ride.
Yeah,
this is not Amtrak, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about.
I mean,
Might as well be.
she said that job in Queens was 2 hours. I was like, that is kind of far.
Yeah, I was feeling on that.
Yeah, but you heard what Mama said, like, you young kids. Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't know. Get up. That means you got to get up at 5 o'clock. That's right. Be there on time. Shoot. That's what that means. All right. Well, Dorian, 1001 2023. You said it was your favorite film of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I had 2 movies come out that year, so that's almost blasphemy. Yeah. And I was proud of the films, so I'm not even down in my films. I thought that was some good movies, but like that was. Yeah.
It's funny when we were casting things. I thought Dorian was going to say, "I mean, I think I'd be great in that."
Oh yeah.
I was waiting for that.
I did see that script, but I was shooting the burial when I saw the script. Yeah.
You know, it's funny you talk about the films that you were in. One of the interesting notes about the 5 Heartbeats that came up at our screening was that the film was shot in reverse order. Is that correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. It was shot in reverse order specifically because Robert Townsend, ladies and gentlemen, wanted at the end of the film where everybody's got their afros and stuff like that, he didn't want to have to deal with wigs.
Right, he didn't want wigs.
He wanted everybody to have their own, it was their own hair. And everybody had their own hair except John Canada Terrell,
yes,
who was always going to have a slick
back. Always.
Always going to have his slick back. But everybody had their own afros, right? Because he did not want to deal with wigs.
Mm-hmm.
I know where you're going.
Speaking of wigs, Vincent, have you taken time yet to sit down with Netflix Shirley?
Yes.
Starring Regina King.
I have.
And one Dorian Missick.
Yes. So is that? Did you keep that when you rapped her?
I did not keep the wig. Yeah. Wigs are tough, man. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. I look at myself and I'm like, I don't look like me. That must be a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, whoa, that brother is acting.
There was a review where they mentioned the wig. And I was kind of interested. It was like, he did a great job, even though he had to fight against his wig. And I was like, that's cold-blooded.
Dorian said, y'all got me for 2 scenes. That's it. I'm not leaving this room. That's it. I was like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
There's a choice. All right,
man, look, my favorite kind of actor, a working one. So I was like, hey, man, wear your wig. Do your thing, brother.
Do your thing. Omar doesn't have these problems. I just want to point this out.
Kate.
You must have seen.
Did you see Django Unchained?
Okay, that was okay. All right. He's got a little bit more stroke now.
I said it before.
There was a wig issue. I remember he said to me specifically, he complained about a wig, and I can't remember what movie it was in because I don't want to be bashing hair people. But it was something that he said it was a wig that people constantly got at him about, and I don't remember what movie it was.
It may have been Django.
Look, I've said it before. I think I said it when y'all were on before. That getup he had in Django, my wife said, "That's your boy," and I said, "Who?" And she said, "Omar." Now, I only know one actor named Omar. I said, Omar who?
Right.
Because I did not recognize him at all in that getup. And I said, much like with you, I said, boy, that brother is acting. That brother is acting.
Yo, that was his, they cut his hair to look like that too. And the reason why I remember it so well is because that was the same year when Simone and I got married and Omar was in my wedding. And he's the one brother in the wedding with a hat on. Because they were mid-shooting the film. And he took a couple days off to come to the Bahamas and get in our wedding. And I was like, I ain't even going to do it to you, man. I would never make you wear that. And I was really like, I just can't have you ruining my wedding pictures.
Because pictures are forever.
Yeah. I need you to cover that up.
Right.
So, he got a nice page boy hat. He looked great. It fit the theme of the wedding, but he's the one dude with a hat on.
Sweet. All right, Dorian, would you recommend that people watch 1001?
I would. I scream from the mountaintop. I tell it to everybody. I have meetings with other directors, and I tell them they should see the movie. Usually when I don't think what they're selling is good. I'm like, you should check this movie out. You might learn something.
What about you, Vince?
Yeah, absolutely. This is an extraordinary debut.
Oh,
by this director, and A.V. Rockwell is quickly on my list of people that I look for. And again, just to reflect my own ignorance, like the only thing I really knew about Tiana Taylor, like when I thought about her before today, like she's in Coming to America.
Yes,
and I just she's just sort of in the atmosphere as a celebrity, but I really, really hope she keeps acting and does more work and does more film work, because she was amazing, and the whole cast, like the whole cast was great. Like we haven't talked about the actress that plays her girlfriend, who I thought, speaking of just another girl in the IRT, like I kind of, there's a beat at the beginning where she first takes Terry to her girlfriend's house with the girlfriend and the mother, and I said I could spend about 20 minutes here. That actress is Terry Abney. Terry Abney, who plays her mom?
Her mother is played by Delisa Reynolds.
I loved all three of them together. Like when she landed at the end on black women are the only people that help black women, and even then the shit gets messy. That could have been a movie.
Yeah.
So, I love their performances. I love the performances of all the principals that we've talked about. I thought it was shot well. The story, like it was an actual story. So just
masterpiece.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's funny, you brought up Just Another Girl on the IRT, and I was watching this film, and I think maybe it's partly because of how Tiana is dressed for most of the movie as well. This is almost like, the 21st century Just Another Girl on the IRT. I was feeling that as I was watching this film. So yeah, I would absolutely absolutely recommend this. And in fact, I planned on introducing this to my sisters, and we were supposed to be spending some time this weekend. Sure. So, they always just like, well, what are we going to watch, movie man? So this is what we're going to sit and watch.
It's not a light film. I don't know if I'd show it this weekend at the cookout.
Well, it's not a cookout. We're just getting together.
I was about to say,
no, it's not the cookout movie.
It's a heavy movie. All right.
Yeah, you can kind of shake that one off. Yeah, like watch it during the day so you can get some drinks at night.
Oh, that's what we're going to be doing. We're just going to be sitting around, But I think it's a movie. I think it's a movie. You know what? I think it's a movie worth watching, not the cookout.
Right.
But sitting around like we're going to, I think the conversations that this movie will engender about black women, about black men, about the systems and all of the systems and systemic racism that is on display in this film. I think that this is definitely a film worth visiting, and with a small crowd too. Engender those conversations.
All right.
And introduced to Tiana Taylor and the work of A.V. Rockwell.
All right. 3 up, 3 down.
3 up, 3 down. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our review of 1001. That also concludes our 400th episode of the Michaud Mission. And may I say, Vincent, that I look forward to many, many more.
Absolutely.
This has never stopped being a joy.
Not at all.
Never stopped being fun.
Never stopped being fun.
And for all the people that we sit down and talk with, as much as we have our beautiful co-host Dorian and everyone else that comes in and sit and chat with us, that I look forward to just sitting down and busting it up with you.
Absolutely.
And your dear friend, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you for taking this mission with me.
Thank you for taking this mission with me. Absolutely.
All right.
I love this. Yeah, I love this platform. And I'm just quickly would like to say, how much I like y'all because I discovered you all by a bad review that you did of a film.
Here he go. It was not a bad review. I liked the movie.
You did. I give it to you. You liked it.
Right.
But even with that, I was like, the insight, I like these cats, man. I want to hear more of what they have to say about films. And I think I even said after I was a guest on here for the first time, I said, I love being on the show, but I really love it more when it's just y'all talking. I feel like, I prefer to hear y'all, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful that you would give me this opportunity to come in and eavesdrop on your conversation. But, keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm really proud of y'all. This is incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dorian.
Thank you, Dorian.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And
so
thank
much.
you for the support, because Dorian has been around since damn near the beginning.
The first year.
Yeah. So
First year.
First year? Wow.
Yeah. And it's been lockstep with us and introduced us to Simone
and Omar.
And Omar.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, man.
Yes.
We really appreciate it.
We love you. Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Sir, appreciate you.
He walked us to the train that day. I think about that all the time. Him and Simone walked us to the train.
Yeah.
I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
They did not have to do that.
No. Because
You raised right.
I was about to say, and you fool around and we'll trade the family cow for magic beans. Or get caught up in a game of 3-card Monty. So
I want to make sure y'all got home safe. It's legal purpose.
we walking around looking up New York City, skyscrapers and everything. Dude run up to us, hey man, hold this.
Oh. Hey man, what you talking about? Oh no, what's going on? Can't take him to jail, man. I didn't know it. My favorite part of that record, man. And only the nerd like you could get it. I love this.
Oh boy.
I knew I belonged here.
Oh man! All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, hold on. We didn't do the stuff, Dorian. How do people like? What's your Twitter? Your what's all your stuff? People want to.
Oh yeah, I'm really easy. Well, actually no. Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Dorian Missick, so I'm there. And then on Twitter, I go by my DJ name, DJ Tailwind Turner.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the Cosby Show.
Yes, that's how much of a fan I am.
Yes, check Dorian out on Instagram, ladies and gentlemen. I call him Mr. Fashion because every time he pops up on my Instagram, it's just him just standing in another pose, all decked, flying out.
It was a lot of heavy press these last couple of months, man. So, I was like, this is the best I'm gonna look, so I'm gonna post. Yeah.
You looking good though, brother. You looking smooth.
Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Keep doing it, most definitely. All right, before we tell you what's happening next week on the Micheaux Mission, we invite you to send us all of your feedback. Email us at themicheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUXMISSION@gmail.com. You can also find us at Micheaux Mission on all the social media of your choice, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Subscribe, hit that bell on YouTube. Become a follower of the Micheaux Mission so you can be notified when we go live, when we put up our shorts, when we put up our edited videos. We got lots more stuff coming your way. The Micheaux Mission is also a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work, such as ours, which streams live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. You can email Dylan at youngjunk.com and grab yourself a Dylan and book yourself in one of the fabulous rooms that they have here. Dylan, I hooked you up with a client this weekend, didn't I, my bro? Yes, I did. So get in. The rooms are getting filled here at Young Junk, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Next week, here on the Micheaux Mission, there will be no mission. We are going to take the week off because it's our 400th. So we're going to take some time off. We're only taking 1 week off, though, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be returning on July 2nd, and we will be returning with a very special program that you have been clamoring for years. Vincent and I will finally return to the world of Spock adjacent and give you our full retrospective review of Star Trek Discovery, as it is ended after 5 seasons.
It has ended after 5 seasons.
We will now give you the full series review, the full Spock adjacent treatment here live from Young Chunk on Tuesday, July 2nd. So stay tuned for that. Okay?
Okay.
All right, George? Okay. All right. Until then, he's Vincent. I'm Len. That's Dorian. And in parting, we say,
We'll see you when it's time to meet again.